What do you get when you mix dinosaurs, Scooby-Doo, and the internet? Apparently, the strongest being in all of existence. Scooby-Doo, it's one of those franchises that just has always seemed to be there, and regardless of who you are or where you're from, we all have at one point been fans of this one dog. Whether it be the original cartoon, the live-action movies with Springtrap, or even the multiple spin-off DVD movies. For me, I loved Scooby-Doo. I'd watch the cartoons and play with the toys, but one piece of Scooby-Doo content I remember vividly, especially watching as a kid, was Scooby-Doo and Legend of the Phantosaur, the movie that gave the world the Ultra Instinct, only using 1% of his power, defeating Goku Shaggy, which, might I remind you, became so popular that it practically defined an era of memes and made it into the game Multiverses, rest in peace. But while the memes from this movie are well known, it seems like nobody really mentions the movie they came from, so today is the day I thought I'd ask you peeps, yes you, right there, don't go anywhere, I thought I'd ask you, do you remember Legend of the Phantosaur? Released on September 6, 2011 exclusively for DVD, The Legend of the Phantosaur was by no means a simple movie. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Where most Scooby-Doo adventures were often the gang having to solve a mystery together in order to catch a certain bad guy, here they really decided to push the limits of what it is they were allowed to do, as not only is this a mystery, but it is in some parts a action-adventure movie akin to frickin' Indiana Jones, which honestly is a blend that works really well together and kind of makes me wish they did an Indiana Jones crossover. After all, they did WWE, so why can't Indy get one? Now, in terms of production information on The Legend of the Phantosaur, there isn't much to go on, as not much is known about it outside of a few things, so I don't know whether my sources are inaccurate or if this movie's production is probably lost media. And, you know, if it is lost media, that's a shame, because with the events that happen here, I would have died to know how it is they came up with some of these ideas. What ideas, you may be asking? Well, the main conflict of the movie, for one, with Shaggy's fear, as the entire reason that this movie happens is because one day Shaggy is spooked so badly that he cannot stop screaming for hours. And so, in order to help his mental state, the mystery gang end up going to a resort in the desert where the gang help out on a paleontological dig site, while at the same time, Shaggy gets to enjoy the peace and the all-you-can-eat buffets of the resort, until a magical ghost dinosaur called the Phantosaur appears from out of nowhere because the universe hates Shaggy, I guess, as this is now the second time he's had to deal with phantoms. And so they go and get Shaggy hypnotized in order to transform him into a fearless warrior every time he hears the word bad. Now, in any other franchise, this idea of a story would never work. It is so out there in terms of wackiness that it's hard to take seriously. It is insane. This story is insane. The hypnosis is an important part of this story. I can't believe I'm saying that. But the fact that it's Scooby-Doo, of all things, kind of makes it work. Now hold on, peeps. Do you want to be featured in a video? Just like Eef Dog, Pogtoon, and the horrifying Man with No Fear? Then you need to subscribe right now, because I'm on a mission to get to 20,000 subscribers, and we are just so close with 500 subscribers to go, and I need your help in order to cross that line. So if you want to help me on my mission to get to 20,000 subscribers and potentially get a shout out, then you need to subscribe right now and tell me in the comments down below that you subscribed, and who knows, it might just be your name that's the one featured in the very next video. Also, peeps, if you're enjoying the content I've been making recently and you want to support it going forward, then I have memberships now. If you want to get access to special features and maybe some future videos early, then be sure to join the membership and you'll really be supporting me by doing so. But with that, let's get back into the Phantosaur. Scooby-Doo Legend of the Phantosaur is a good movie. Yeah, I said it. This movie honestly had no right going as hard as it did. Now, is it because of nostalgia? Maybe, but it's still a good time without that regardless, and I'll stand by it. Let's first talk about the animation, which for the most part is pretty solid. You could tell it had a higher budget than most of the cartoons of Scooby-Doo, but wasn't really on par with anything cinematic in terms of quality. It has a style that really quite works, and that can actually be surprisingly beautiful at times, whether it be the Phantosaur itself or certain backgrounds. This animation is honestly pretty nice to look at, and it's just full of personality. It honestly represents the tone of the movie really well, where the creators know it's ridiculous, and instead of trying to shy away from it, they ultimately embrace it and go all in on that cartoony goodness, which was always a treat to see. You can definitely tell the animators were having far more fun here than they probably were expecting to do. But what about the characters? Well, the mystery gang here are pretty fine. Velma gets a side plot, and the villains of the movie, while pretty dull, are incredibly stupid. It's so funny thinking about it in hindsight because, their main goal was to get riches, when, in actuality, they probably could have sold their giant dinosaur technology and made a fortune. After all, people like Universal would absolutely kill to have this kind of technology for their Jurassic World rides. Like, come on, think about it. But of course, the highlight of the movie would definitely have to be Shaggy himself, who is honestly perfect here. They managed to get Matthew Lillard back to play him, and he brings 110% to the role, which, he just embodies the role of Shaggy so well. This man is fantastic. Please, never get rid of him. Plus, his arc throughout the movie of learning that he's still capable despite being afraid was a really sweet idea that fits his character really well. Honestly, if I had to describe what this movie is like as an experience, I'd probably compare it to a puzzle. It's something that just falls into place perfectly, as all the pieces fit together really well, and the final result is something nice to look at. Now, is it a highly advanced puzzle? No. But it's a puzzle that, while simple, is a heck of a lot of fun to put together, and in the end, that's all that matters, with it being quite charming and a good use of solid 60 minutes. But if it is so much fun, then why was this movie forgotten about? Well, the answer to that is probably because of the fact that it's a relic of its time now. Being a product of the early 2010s, it was never really meant to be something that could last forever. It was intended to be nothing more than an easily shipped DVD that could be sold in bargain bin stores all across the world, among the many other Scooby-Doo direct-to-DVD movies. And honestly, it's because of that fact that I kinda have to give it even more respect, because despite this movie supposedly having no future, that didn't stop the creators at all from having as much fun as they could here, as it feels like the creators of this movie, regardless of the future that it would have, just made this movie for the sake of having fun and creating something special to them. And it's because of that fact that this movie now lives in infamy through its memes, as Ultra Instinct Shaggy single-handedly manages to keep this movie in the Hall of Fame for memeable movies. And to me, that's so goofy and silly that it fits Scooby-Doo perfectly. But now is where I ask you again, peeps. Do you remember Scooby-Doo Legend of the Phantosaur? And if you do, what were your memories of it? Were you a fan of it like I was, or were you not all that interested in it, you absolute fool? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more retrospectives just like this, then be sure to like this video and subscribe. But with that, peeps, it's been the Pink King here, and I will see you all next time.